How often should you drain and refill your swimming pool? Well, the only times that you really need to drain and refill your pool is if obviously you're doing any service or maintenance to it that requires you draining it. But from a chemical perspective, there's really only two occasions that you're going to need to drain and fill. Almost everything else can be accounted for through chemical treatments or maintenance such as vacuuming or skimming the pool. The first reason that you might need to drain your pool early is if your stabilizer level is too high. Stabilizer is cyanuric acid, or also sometimes called water conditioner, but basically this is the sunscreen for your chlorine to prevent your chlorine from just burning off in the UV. If you have too much stabilizer in your water, it will introduce a problem called chlorine lock, where your chlorine won't be able to do its job despite being present in the water. If you get a stabilizer level above about 60 parts per million, that's the point at which it starts to become a problem, and you want to maintain about 30 to 50 parts per million stabilizer in your pool under ideal circumstances. Now, stabilizer is introduced to your pool if you're using stabilized chlorine of any kind. If you're using a stabilized chlorine to chlorinate your pool, then you're constantly adding more stabilizer to the water, so at some point you're going to need to drain off part of the water and refill it with fresh water. The other time that you would need to drain and refill your pool is if your total dissolved solids, or TDS, level exceeds about 2,000 parts per million. Total dissolved solids are basically the measurement of everything that you're putting in the water, just as it sounds, total dissolved solids. And in excess of 2,000 parts per million or so, the water becomes more difficult to maintain, it becomes more irritating to eyes and skin of bathers, and it just doesn't have the same clear, sparkly finish to it. It becomes a little bit dull and a little bit listless looking. So if you find that your total dissolved solid levels exceed 2,000 parts per million, then you probably want to drain and partially refill your pool. But those are really the only circumstances that you need to drain and refill. Everything else you can handle by adding chlorine or any other chemical treatments that you might need, as well as vacuuming, brushing the walls and floor, and skimming any debris that's in the pool. If you found this information helpful, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.